I appreciate your concern. I really do. I love this game, and I love it to the death of me. That's it.
Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa addressed the media in this quote right here: "I believe we'll live in infamy." Here's more.
So all of I guess, what was it like for you, or I don't know how much attention you paid to it when so many people in the outside world are saying he should retire, you don't play this and that, while you're symptom-free the next day?
I wasn't paying attention to any of it. None of it.
We don't know if this is truthful, but through this press conference, the vibe Tua gave off was a man who wants to prove to the world he belongs on the field, having this y'all doubt me mentality, and he simply will not dignify retirement talks.
Tua, you said last time you had that discussion with Anthony.
Yeah.
In the offseason. Did that discussion come up in the last?
Nope. None of that.
While also being quick and rather short with his answers. It felt like he not only did not want to be there, but felt personally disrespected by people being concerned for his well-being. Here's another moment.
Will you wear a Guardian cap?
Nope.
Why?
Personal choice.
Now let's talk about this. The Guardian cap, seen here, was created in 2011 by Aaron and Lee Hansen. Their mission, quite clear: better protect athletes at all levels. It was first used in 2015 during practices. It's evolved over time with different chin straps, Velcro usage, and much more. But the NFL would approve its usage in 2021 for linemen in practice, then in 2024, fully approve it for game usage. A nice little reminder here via the Miami Herald: Guardian caps create an extra soft-shelled layer of padding over the traditional football helmet. They can absorb at least 10% of the force of a hit, according to NFL research. Why not? If it has been proven, try. Why not just try?
What did your family say about you coming back, and how deep was that discussion?
Nobody, no one's sort of advice had affected anything that I thought in terms of returning. So no one had an effect on it. Had some conversations with my wife, but that was it.
Not many voices would weigh in on the subject.
I mean, I wish he would wear it. He said it's a personal choice, and again, the guys who wear it say it's a heavier helmet. And again, I honestly don't know if it's truly a matter of it looks bad, and you don't want it to look bad. And that you're standing out, like you're admitting, like, yeah, I'm prone to concussions. I honestly don't know what it is. That said, I do understand. I've heard that from so many players who have had concussion problems, and I've heard it from so many players who have had injury issues. Like, I'm a football player. This is what I do. This is my passion. This is what I've grown up to be, and I'm not going to let the injury gods tell me how to handle my business. My heart will be in my throat every single time he fades back and he starts leaving the pocket, and I just would love him to wear that Guardian cap. It's not me, and I'd love him to slide more.
Including Rich Eisen. Meanwhile, those studying CTE in athletes, like former football player and wrestler Dr. Chris Nowinski, spoke on the matter.
The question about what is happening now, players are bigger, stronger, faster. They're starting younger. And so the reality is, even with the protections that have been made in the NFL game, I don't think CT is going down. It's probably going up still, especially because the reforms at the NFL level are not being made at college or high school or youth in any significant way. And you got to pass through those levels to get to the NFL. And so just changing the last 3 seasons of your career, making them a little safer, is not going to have a big impact on outcomes.
USA Today would go on to report that more than 91% of former NFL players whose brains have been studied by Boston University's CTE Center were found to have CTE. And on top of that, recent research would suggest athletes who play more than 11 years of football or pick up the sport at a young age, which many do, have a greater risk of having CTE later on in life. Meanwhile, on Tua, a great must-read piece came from ESPN's Elizabeth Merrill. She would speak with specialists, including a noted neurosurgeon and concussions expert named Dr. Julian Bales. Now, this is an important side note. Dr. Julian Bales was one of the people that the Dolphins consulted when it came to Tua, and I believe this was after a game against the Green Bay Packers when he suffered a concussion. So Merrill would interview Bales, who said, "Why do you think we're back here in the same situation 2 years later? It's the style of play. He stuck his head in there and he's not afraid, and he's a great athlete, and he wanted to get a few more yards, He stuck his head in there without thinking in that split second. So that's a big part of why we're back again. Same guy, same susceptibility, and same style of play." Merrill would also get in touch with the Miami high school quarterbacks coach, whose name is Vinny Passes, and he gave an eye-opening remark. Quote, "Sometimes I just hope that he, as in Tua, reconsiders thinking about his future. Now that he has a boy and a girl and a wife, it's not like high school when you can just go home to mommy and dad. I just think he has so much more to offer, not only to his family, but the people around him. He believes that God has a path for him, and I'm just going to believe in what path God has for him. That's what I pray for, is that God has the right path for him and sends him in the right direction." Then there's Dr. Daniel Dashavar, who we covered on this channel previously. He'd go on to say, "We know that hits to the head, getting hit in the head a lot, is not good for you. But if someone's completely back to their baseline in terms of symptoms, then they're more likely to get back toward that green light side." Now, for someone like Tua, I've never evaluated him, so I can't say for sure what's going on with him, his brain and him overall in terms of his recovery. But with someone who it appears with hits that are associated with less and less force or higher frequency in getting symptomatic head impacts, is getting concussions in response to these lower force hits, that makes me think that they might never get back to that green level where there's going to be low risk for future problems. And that's kind of how I approach conversations with the athletes. All right, so let's just break this down, in my view, of course. We have done the topics, right? And I have brought to you so much research. And one thing that just stands out is how many football players have this. And the driver and this divide, I truly believe, is that there is this certain cushion that a lot of players have, whether pro, collegiate, lower levels, what have you. It's that we don't know if these people have CTE until they are deceased. There's no way of diagnosing it. So they cling to a sense of optimism when in reality, according to the numbers, it should be ultimate pessimism, but it's not. They say, well, we don't know, or I love the game, or, this is what I decided and this is what I believe, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. And I also saw when I did a TikTok on this that a lot of people were like, why are you targeting Tua? And I get it, because I've seen at this point probably hundreds, if not thousands of hits that have left guys concussed, completely out on the football field. It is the brutal nature of seeing a quarterback, and maybe it is the aesthetic in play, akin to a slam dunk contest where the smaller guys give off a different feel, like a Nate Robinson or a Spud Webb. I get it. But when it is Tua, who maybe is a smaller quarterback, getting pummeled over the middle, going into that fencing posture and seeing it so many times at such a high rate over the past few years, we now view him, let's keep it a buck. We view Tua as the avatar for what football is doing to somebody. And on top of this, we have seen the PBS Frontlines, we have seen the Mike Webster interviews. We know this now. Tua is also existing in an era where we have the intel. All the stuff that the NFL wanted us not to know, we know. We have all of that information now. And that is why we are taking this cautious approach with Tua and almost begging him not to continue, because we know it's not a matter of if he has another concussion. It's a matter of when, and how many times. Because here's what we know. A billion-dollar business like the Miami Dolphins is not going to come in when we have seen the quarterback play that they have had over the last few weeks, when this man has been out in concussion protocol. We have seen how badly they need him. Do you think the NFL, Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, do you think they're going to step in and say, hey, man, you had a good run? No. You know why? Because their jobs depend on it. Their incentives depend on it. The next house they could buy, the next car they could drive. And on top of this, let's keep it really real, legacy is on top of this as well. And it rides on him, because right now they don't have an offense. So when I say, and I understand that I provide a bit of a different perspective when it comes to sports, it's that you need to look at these people as human, because that's something that the billion-dollar businesses in the suits will not do. To them, it's labor. It's a number. It's a body. And it's a shame. So here we are, with Tua saying he will not take the simplest of precautions. It is his decision. But in this day and age, we all have this sense of dread because we know what's going to happen. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.